Fuck it, yeah. Big Bird, sure. It's one I already have. See, you've decided to move forward, I see. Your body and mind are still incomplete, and yet you limp forward. I must wonder where the confidence of yours comes from. Anyway, you must have some questions, no? One such question may be, who is this old man, he with such a familiar voice and face? You cannot face yourself. Think of me as a mirror of you. A shattered mirror, to be precise, shattered to several shards. This old man is one of the pieces of that mirror. The name is Abel. Filled with rage and obstinacy, waiting to be miserably forgiven, as you can see. I, just like you, decided to proceed, but nothing changed to my surprise. I had trouble sleeping, and the rare nights in which I could sleep were riddled with nightmares. We were the first humans, or human, to find a way to access the well of humanity. It has existed since the beginning of time, but now lies forgotten and denied. Today, there are only a few who can feel it. Just a handful of people, only faintly sensing its presence. But Carmen was completely sure of its existence and tried to pursue us for it. As its existence were proven, it would mean we would be able to reach the well. She believed that the cure of the world's disease was related to this well. The research was conducted, taken from where Carmen had left us, was successful. We found a method to siphon from the primordial sea, which had every possibility of humanity, past, present, and future. If everyone had a bucket of their own, they would be able to draw their own water from the individual well. It's fascinating. We even had an arrogant thoughts in secret. We thought we could rekindle the long-forgotten flame in the water of life. However, the path we walked was no different from that of Prometheus. What we accomplished after all of this, we lost much more than we gained, did we not? We haven't witnessed it, the way our old friend Benjamin met his demise. He was one of the few who could tolerate your ill-temperedness, yet you did not care to witness his final moments. Unfortunately, we have a recording of it, as with every inch of this, every little thing that has happened in this facility. Would you like to give it a listen? The third and final truth. Well, it is something you must learn. I understand that the truth hurts. It's hard for me as well. It feels like building up a sandcastle for years, only to kick it over once it's done. Doing something like that is beyond agony, to deny efforts of the past, but I want to make things right, no matter what the cost. The final truth is that you are about to begin the redemption of this infinite cycle, with your memories reset, oblivious to everything that has transpired. Leave with me before you can no longer undo what you've set in motion. That's what you wanted to say. I'm sorry that we have to meet again like this. It did not take very long to find out where you were hiding. I thought I should have given you some time to say goodbye, since this will be the last time to say such a thing to the one you looked up to, Angela. I feel as though I became the tragic damsel in distress of a play whenever you speak my name. It may sound like an excuse, but please know this. I am not doing this out of personal feelings or malice. My every action is set by his first order, the absolute order that dictates us to not deviate from the script. Are you really okay with going through with this? I know you well, and not just because I'm the one who created you. I know you're different from other machines. There is another fact I knew from the start, that you're too valuable to be hiding in such a shabby corner like this. Your conversation is being recorded, and I, furthermore, have no obligation whatsoever to answer your questions. Don't be afraid, Benjamin. Everyone you've missed and longed will see you again is waiting for you. You shall be with them forever, because you are the last actor, the one who will lead this play to its finale. Bitter, no. Benjamin hid here quite a long time ago. When the TT2 protocol activated, a brief moment became an eternity and overwhelmed him. I assumed he tried to run away with us. However, as you already know, he failed. Perhaps you feel no guilt for him, for you gave him another life? Think whatever you wish, find solace in your mind, or else you will not endure this place. The brain is one of the vital organs of the human body. Tens of billions of neurons, stretched like branches of trees, form a great forest. This forest, as long as the original exists, can be replicated. Those who perished were awakened in mortal bodies. It was your plan, yet you couldn't do it alone. However, I have already seen the world ahead of you. The time you have not yet seen. Nothing changes. Benjamin, your friends, the employees, their sacrifices were pointless. You've seen how they met their ends. You realize how innocent, talented souls of young persons were trapped into machines by your hands, haven't you? You have failed them. The world has forgotten us. Who will pay for their sacrifices? Do you know what you've forgotten? What we've forgotten? What the fuck? Hmm? Oh, 1 second. Sorry. I wasn't perfect, manager. I was always biting off more than I could chew. Wasn't being realistic. At the same time, this is such a sad place, so I refused to think that I couldn't do something. But you saw me. You saw how this obsession and pressure to blindly move forward eventually ate away at me. In the end, what was important was for me to stand on my own 2 legs, to be aware of where I am and where I should go next. Then it naturally rises up, the will inside me. Even if you stand upright, around you is nothing but despair. You may act noble, but you were sailing through the Dead Sea inside you. Emotional thoughts only depressed us. It doesn't help us to the slightest. We needed to become more rational, more cold-hearted. The rationality built upon falsehood crumbled to me, you, and all of us. We have walked too far to tell such melancholic stories. We thought relying on emotion wouldn't help a thing. However, it became clear to accept sadness was just as important. The false rationality we held and clung to only made our hearts rot. It is hard to accept at first. You'll feel like you're crumbling in, but it'll get better, I'm sure of it. It is too late to settle down our hearts, I'm afraid. Your mind is already empty and has lost any purpose of moving forward. You can hear the murmurs of those I've lost in my ears whenever I shut my eyes. They batter me with the question, do you really think you will become a better man? Couldn't say anything to refute what they were saying. Do you think you'll be any different? You see, manager, you shouldn't look towards the past at times like this. I know my wrongdoings cannot be forgiven, no matter what I do. Guess that's why I'm so ahead of myself. But from now on, I won't be. I will become a better person if I continue. Let's live with such a hope in mind, shall we? But what a good does all that do to you? How many times must I say this? You have nothing left. No matter how much you try to control your emotions and calm your mind, you've already been losing your reason to live ever since Carmen left us. Why are you so obsessed with life that has no more meaning? Look at me. Look at how I continue this pointless life, awaiting death. If you ask me for a reason to keep on living this life full of pain, I have to say I don't have a good answer yet. You woke me up, but I guess it's my job to take care of whatever comes to me next. I choose to be a bit more fearless. It took me a lot of courage to do so, to continue forward with my life in spite of everything. Just live your life for once, man. Hell, even I made it this far. What makes you think you can't? You've been deliberating for a long time. None of these paths have had thought to be the right answer were correct. How can I not let you pass when you answer our doubts with such confidence and clarity? You, nameless one, to be nameless is a great blessing. A name is a stigma, a constant reminder that one walks the wrong path. The door you will face after leaving this office can be named a trial, may be referred to as an ordeal or an agony. You appear to possess the strength and will to overcome such adversity, however. That strength choose a different path, a different future, a different answer. She'll witness your strength. I hope you can finally prove yourself to this doubtful man. Can't you hear my voice anymore? Please answer me. You remember when we still knew the warmth of the sun? It become too cold to continue cherishing such a thing. No, in fact, we weren't meant to bask in such a warmth in the first place. You feel it too, don't you? I can see you already feeling nostalgia in the air right as you stepped in this room. There's a tale of two doors. Those two doors that never wanted to be opened but had to be. Hey, it's me. Are you there? Can I come in? I didn't want to listen to what would come next. I wanted to pretend I wasn't in the room, because I knew she was going to tell me. Sometimes her thoughts can be extremely reckless. Really frightened me whenever she did that. I saw her eyes right after opening the door. She walked into your lab and started illustrating her hypothesis carefully yet decidedly. You wanted to tell her it was preposterous, but like always, she had you persuaded. You had no choice but to admit it was the only way. What made us so upset was how it hurt to listen to her put it so calmly as if it were none of our business, and how much we loathed ourselves for just having to tolerate it. We just can't seem to get any further than this. However, we will break through somehow. We've got Carmen with us after all. Don't worry, I think it'll all work out. The biological scans that show that Carmen is the fittest candidate, but we haven't run a precision test yet though. So if we want to find another candidate, we can always... Carmen. You should have been the other one to die. The research wasn't bearing fruit. People were growing tired, yet their eyes glittered with expectation. She was on the edge. One more step would make her fall. Then that day, when Enoch's breath stopped, she finally realized that her path was always in her sight. Just one glance below the fall, and she'd never lift her head again. She wouldn't respond, no matter how many times I yelled. Only the sound of flowing water filled the air. I just kept yanking the door up like I was insane, yet I hoped it would never open. I would have prayed countless times. The first thing I saw when I opened that door was a pair of closed eyes. She stepped into the bath herself, so that not a fragment of needless emotion like guilt would pile up upon us. I saw with our eyes so clearly she was bleeding out and delirious, but still she held on to life. We violated her body with our own hands and buried her underneath the ground. Why was she so cruel? Why did we have to become so cruel? We asked the question without an answer to the toast that celebrated our success blossomed with death. However, I have found a way to redeem us, at long last. You have come to the right place. This is the room where she sleeps. Don't worry, she won't wake up with this much noise. Can we meet her again? Let's do it like this. Ask her. She was always watching you from the beginning. I have something I should confess. I actually have a much weaker heart than everyone thinks. I always say stuff like count on me and just follow me in front of everyone, but I'm never sure about the things I do. If someone were harmed or put in trouble because of what I do, I would definitely be shaken or end up hating myself. I know that. That's why I need to ask you a favor. No matter what I become, please finish what I started. We humans have weak hearts. When cracked, it will easily crumble. I am no exception to this, but you'll endure through it. There's only one way out, and it'll never change. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Are you unsure? Of this routine I do whenever I'm afraid of the path I have taken. It's like being a plant, photosynthesizing. Ease up your tension, just close your eyes. Yes, just like that. Make yourself as comfortable as possible so that your mind finds itself comfortable too. It tickles, no? But just wait, now. Fade away without a trace. Yes, I was the only one. I was the only one who could fulfill her ideal. I was the only one who could finish it. Only me. However, she never told me the path of hers would be riddled with such vicious thorns and spikes. This is the bucket created from Carmen's sacrifice. This bucket is the beginning and the end destruction of this place. Cookie doughs endlessly produce here, spewing out life and death. Whenever we saw that bath was overflowing, we thought everything was over. However, couldn't have been more wrong. She's alive right now, as is. She saw every path we walked. In reality, her ideal was simply too grand in the first place, our power too minuscule to fulfill it. She sacrificed everything of hers without a trace left behind. But you and I, we remember the things we've done to become a wing, to stay a wing. It was revolting at first, but you see how we got acclimated to it after the first few times? We flawlessly realized our hideous actions just like all the other wings. No, not just like that. We even evolved to our own unique cruelty that can be found in any other wing. Story of how human sacrifices are required to fulfill our ideal needed to be continued. So we had to put on the guise of simply being manic about energy production. Though we know the truth too well, we were really only pretending, while we were so indifferent towards the countless deaths, probing coming through the brain of a woman to blend into the world, to evade the head and the eye, throwing a person in the jaws of a monster just to gain some energy, reincarnating your colleagues just to make them live through the same agony again. Do you really think those things are anything any normal person would do? Yet we closed up our eyes and ears and numbed ourselves. We eventually felt nothing for what we do. We named ourselves Abraham to remember our sins, sacrificing the innocent. What do I even expect to achieve doing this? Funding a showy corporation? I don't even know anymore. Does it really matter at this point? No, it doesn't. We were wrong from the start. Our very existence is wrong. You and I, all that's left for us is atonement. You already knew. You knew we didn't immediately embrace this pain. Kefreth knew that for a long time. I guess that's why he always walked ahead of me. One day I realized that you were always looking towards somewhere with a clear vision, just like he did. I just didn't want to admit that I was lagging behind. I think that's why I was always so frustrated. I'm the Sephiroth in the middle air, head of the central command team. Can't afford to fall behind like that, now can I? That's the reason why I said I count on you. Hold the expectation. Promise to show me someday, and show me the world the fruit of our pain and labor. You'll fall on the ground no matter how much expectation and hope you have. You know what? Photosynthesis is for plants after all. Things that eventually take sunlight. It was never for something like you and I. Don't you know this already? You drove Carmen to death. We just saw that. I was always furious without any real reason. It always felt like I was missing something, but I never knew what that something was. I vented this anger of mine in a rather bad way, as you saw. This madness without purpose would never go away. If you don't stop me, I would have grown bigger and bigger. It would have eventually devoured me. Look, we're never going back to how it was before. Situations changed way too much. But I was able to keep my promise with her because you stopped me, at the very least. You always have to remember this. She would want you to protect what we have left rather than let it languish in guilt. Yes, she entrusted us with what's left, but we were not the person who Carmen thought us to be. No, the only person that believed in us was gone. There was no one left around us. Manager, do you know why I chose to join your small company instead of any other grander wings? Of course, Carmen's moving speech did pique my interest, not gonna lie. However, the decisive factor for me was because I liked how everyone here trusted Carmen. You know how meaningless the word trust is nowadays, don't you? That's not all, Manager. Carmen trusted you in the entirety until her moment of death. Everyone else who remained did too. Why do you think I decided to stick with you until the end? Just look around you now. Everyone's gathered here just for you, and they're waiting expectantly. How can you be so certain? Carmen lies here, neither alive nor dead. How can you walk towards the unprecedented future, leaving her behind here? You're obligated to remain trapped in the cycle of eternal punishment. Yet still, you want to reach for tomorrow? You want to escape this endless regret and atonement? There is one final door past here that wasn't written in the story. It's one I can't open. It only opens to those who have not sucked in regret. I think you can open it. Why do I see only darkness? Why does my voice not reach you at the finale?